Welcome to this week's Wendy Wisdom. Today we're going to talk about stopping leaving cash on that LinkedIn table. Let's get started. So you have a brand spanking new, sparkly LinkedIn profile that reflects your entrepreneurial superpowers. It tells people what you and your business do. That's how you'll make money on LinkedIn, right? Well, no. Well, if you write content, that'll do it, right? Well, maybe. What about ads? That will do it again, right? Nope. Again, maybe. What if I told you that if you had the right profile, the right content, and even the right ads, you would still be leaving money on the table? Not only that, the money you're leaving on the table is the easy stuff. No hours spent creating and scheduling content, no money spent on ads. I'm not saying don't do that stuff. I'm saying something else. That the superpower of LinkedIn is the ability to search for the people you need. And if you're not doing that, you are leaving cash on the table. Now that I have your attention, let's talk about this underappreciated superpower, the search tools and the filters. Think of it like a magnifying glass that finds the money in a junk drawer, not a drunk drawer, a junk drawer, filled with playing cards and jewelry and matches and keys. So, once again, since I got a little confused here, let me say that one more time. Think of this superpower, this search and filter feature, like a magnifying glass that finds the money buried in your junk drawer, under the playing cards and the jewelry and the matches and the keys and whatever else it is that you have in your junk drawer. Because I think I've met one person in my life who doesn't have a junk drawer. Okay, so do you think that your LinkedIn strategy is just stand out with your entrepreneurial profile and stand out with your business page? I mean, I know I've told you to do those things. But are you thinking that, bam, the money just starts rolling in? If that is you, say, stand out. So maybe this is you. You think the only way to getting more clients on LinkedIn is by creating content and attracting followers. Or maybe you think that ads are the fastest path to making money on LinkedIn. If this is you, say stand out. The good news is, once you set up that business page and your personal profile on LinkedIn, you can use LinkedIn to find, notice, active voice, you're in charge, you're in control, you do it, and also be found by customers, LinkedIn content creators, strategic partners, event organizers looking for speakers, podcast hosts, podcast guests, referral partners. That's a lot of money. Now, the bad news is if you don't use those search tools, you won't get the strategic partners, the speaking gigs, the podcast guest spots, the referral partners. And then you are letting everyone down who is counting on you. Family and friends, your employees, if you have them, you're letting them down. Because if you don't use that tool, your business will never, ever become the business it can be. And you might be relying on things that take all your time away from your family and friends. You might be relying on things that cost you so much money when you could do some really simple things that don't take a lot of time and don't take a lot of money. Because if you don't do those simple things, all the stress is going to take a toll on your health, your family, your happiness, your business. All because you're not using those tools that are available to you to find the people you need to make your business success. So what if instead of struggling to find the right people at the right time, the strategic partners, the speaking gigs, the podcast guest spots, the referral partners, you actually found those people? What if? And got the access to audiences filled with your ideal customers that you need to make your business thrive. you would hit that revenue goal, right? You would work on your business, not in your business. You would have more time for the things that you love to do, the people you love to do them with. What would finding those people mean for you, for your team, for your family, for your health? Are you ready to know how to conquer your people connecting issues once and for all? Now, let's get clear on why you might want to listen to me when it comes to finding people on LinkedIn, on using LinkedIn as an entrepreneur. So first of all, I've been around for 20 years. My 20th anniversary is in April. I forget what I'm getting for my 20th anniversary, but I'll be looking for that 20th anniversary present. So I was the first Wendy Taylor on. And there are a lot of Wendy Taylors in the world, but I was the first one on LinkedIn. LinkedIn was around for about 8 months at that point. And as far as building businesses go, I've been there too. I scaled a fintech startup from employee 23 to employee 500 and $100 million exit for the founders and investors. I've consulted with 25 venture-backed tech startups with a 64% exit rate, building their talent strategy, connecting them with the people they needed to get to the next round of funding, the next round of income, and training the recruiters and hiring managers, get this, how to find those people on you know where. Yep. Because every business, whether it's you as a solopreneur or a venture-backed startup trying to go from Series A to Series B, one of the things that all of us have in common is we need certain people to get to the next level. I've coached entrepreneurs launching tea houses, consumer packaged good brands on Amazon, and even a couple of tech startups. So I've specialized in helping neurodivergent entrepreneurs build a team of referral partners, advisors, and employees that help them get stuff done without stressing or experiencing founder failure. Because let's be honest, a much higher percentage of the entrepreneurial world are neurodivergent. And I've been there for you since 1991, when I met my first kid with ADHD and started figuring out what this was and how I could help. And so when it comes to neurodivergent entrepreneurs, you really need to figure out who your team is that's going to help you get the stuff done without stressing, without messing stuff up and going into that vicious shame cycle. So now that you know why you're listening, let's talk about what we're going to learn today. Before we dive into the steps to make LinkedIn work for you, let's get a little backstory again, just in case you're still kind of confused about why you need to be doing this as an entrepreneur. When you think LinkedIn, you're thinking the place to go if I need a job, a modern day resume. That's where recruiters post jobs and find candidates. It's where people who sell to big businesses and corporate find customers. And all that's true. It is the place to go for most people in their careers to build their brand and find their next job or promotion. Yes, there are all sorts of fabulous tools for recruiters, the $150 ones and the super expensive, super powerful ones, not just to post jobs, but to find dream candidates, especially for those hard to fill jobs. And yes, there's all sorts of great tools for salespeople who are doing B2B corporate sales. All that's true, but this isn't all or nothing. LinkedIn is valuable for people like you. LinkedIn is a place where you can build your brand and find the strategic partners. That is, people who have audiences of your ideal customer, and you're not competing with them, and you can get in front of their audience and they can get in front of yours. That's what I mean by strategic partners. Then there's speaking gigs, people running events, or the people deciding whether they're going to let you audition for TEDx. That's another thing that you can do here. Another is podcast guest spots and finding those. And then there's referral partners. Those are people who have a business and they sell a service to people who happen to be your ideal customer too, but your services aren't competing and they can be in a position to refer you. That's awesome. Say you run a handyman business. Realtors need to be your referral partners, because when the gutter falls off your house after 10 days of ice, who are you going to call? Probably your realtor, if you don't have a person to call, right? Okay. So all these different people that you need, the strategic partners, the speaking gigs, the podcast guest spots, the referral partners, that's without even thinking about finding customers. And I'll lay you money that 9 times out of 10, your customers are on LinkedIn too. So let's dive in, shall we? Once you have your strategy set up and your LinkedIn profile is set up so that you are standing out as an entrepreneur, and your business page is set up so your business looks real and credible and you don't have that amorphous blue blob as a logo, you're ready to start tapping into LinkedIn search tools, because you got to know what your strategy is. You got to have the profile set up before you start looking for people, because they're going to be checking out your profile. This activity is going to cause them to look at your profile. So you want to get that done first. And if you need help with that, I've got resources for that, and I can help you with that. So say profile if you need help with that. But okay, now that's all set up. You're going to tap into the amazing search tools. This is the game-changing, mind-blowing, coolest thing ever. So, why are we searching? Why do we need these game-changing, mind-blowing, coolest thing ever tools? Because you want more customers. And you want the fastest ways to find more customers. And the fastest path to more customers is to get in front of other people's audiences that are filled with your customers. And those people are not your competition. So we've got podcasts, we've got speaking gigs, we've got something we haven't talked about yet. People who create content on the regular on LinkedIn, who have an audience of your customers. You don't even have to create the content. All you have to do is go on there and comment. And all of a sudden you get seen by an audience of your potential customers. So here's an example. When I'm wearing my career coach hat, I comment on LinkedIn posts by recruiters, because job seekers think that recruiters have superpowers and can hand them jobs, in a beautiful Tiffany box, and, that's the way it works. So they think they're magical beings who will give them a job. And so they follow their every word like they are gods and goddesses. And so what do? I interact with the ones who have the biggest audiences of people who would be my ideal career coaching client. So that's an example of how you want to get noticed. And now I have this woman who's got this massive following who thinks everything I say is awesome. And that's absolutely perfect. So if someone's coming to her and asking her about a career coach, who's she going to say? Wendy Taylor. Got it. That's what I want for you, my entrepreneurial friends. So as an entrepreneur coach, what do? I comment on LinkedIn posts by people whose audience is filled with entrepreneurs. And they're selling different services than the ones I sell. I also guest speak in people's groups of entrepreneurs who teach something different than what I teach to those entrepreneurs. I've met most of the people in my Facebook group by doing that. Now, referral partners, once again, they're not your competition, but they might actually refer you. So there's getting in front of audiences, and then there's getting referrals. So you want to check out the search tool so you know what a search bar looks like, because we're all used to that, the magnifying glass and the rectangle, right? It's available for both free and premium. So for most people, depending on how much money you have and how much time you're going to spend, Just stick with your free. It's fine. You will have fewer filters, but you will still have filters. So you go ahead and you can search by hashtags. So you can see all the people writing on certain hashtags, or you can write about somebody with a certain title. And then you can filter by location. And so at a minimum, you can do those two things and filter then by your degree of connection if you want to interact with them directly or you want to get someone to introduce you. So remember, the way LinkedIn works is first degree connection is somebody you're connected to. You can interact with them. Their DMs are called InMails, and you can do that for free. And then second degree connections, you have a mutual connection. So with a free account, they tweak these, but generally speaking, we're talking about a max of about 1,000 results. With premium, it's unlimited. But once again, we are busy entrepreneurs. We're looking for the fastest path, my favorite phrase. So you're not likely to run into trouble if you're following my search strategy system, because the limits are really there to find people who are trying to use LinkedIn for hardcore corporate sales or recruiting, and they're not spending money on the products and services designed for them. So you're going to be just fine going in and doing your searches to find some content creators and to find some podcast hosts and to find referral partners. You're going to be just fine. So you found some people. What are you going to do next? Okay, so that doesn't mean all the people that come back in that search are exactly what you're looking for. So you're going to go look at their profiles. And yes, it's perfectly fine if they see that you've been looking. And in fact, it's good. So if they're a content creator and they're one of the people that you want to be checking out their content and then making comments because they've got an audience of people that are your ideal customer, then you want to see, are they creating content about 5 days a week like I do? I'm not saying you have to do that. We'll talk about that later. Maybe it's a good idea, maybe not. But you definitely want to check out their content, make sure it's frequent enough. So if they're doing it five days a week and they're getting people commenting and they're getting people emojiing, then you got somebody. So you put them on your list, and you're going to have a little list of the people that you want to check out their content a couple times a week. It's that simple. Okay. So that's one way you check them out. What if they're a podcast host? Well, you want to check them out. You want to read what they have to say about who their audience is. How many podcasts have they done? If they've just started, they're probably not got a big audience, and this is not actually a real great thing for you. I mean, I did a podcast guest spot for friends of a friend who had just launched their podcast, and that was more of like me helping them. But now, 2 years later, they've got this following, and my stuff is still up there. So, it's not a total waste of time if they're early. But if we're really focused on fastest path here, then we really want to find somebody who's got an audience. That's the whole point. Okay. So now what? Now that you know a little bit more about using LinkedIn search function superpowers, wait, there's more. Here's to making the most of the time you have to make your entrepreneurial dreams happen. So I'm not leaving you stranded. Beyond my daily posts in my free Facebook group, on my LinkedIn profile, if you'd like a cheat sheet for making the most of LinkedIn's superpowers that I love so much, the search function superpowers, drop me the word search in the comments or send me a DM and I'll hook you up. And if you need help actually figuring out what changes to make to your profile as an entrepreneur, how to build a strategy to connect with the people you need to grow your business, and how to do it so you're working on, not in, let's talk. DM me and we'll make it happen.